scientific community, okay? Much like ghosts or the energy of a person to retain a memory. It is not widely accepted by the scientific community because we just don't have enough research done in this field on this matter as of yet. However, through my experience and my research, I say yes, the energy from an animal or pet could also have a memory, making it an intelligent haunting, and most certainly the energy from an animal or pet could leave a stamp as a residual haunting. I truly do believe that. Now, accounts of animal ghosts have existed for a very long time. Their ghost stories go back thousands of years, and their sightings might take place anywhere, okay? And the majority of the household animal ghosts, they stick around for a more benevolent reason. Their attachment isn't about past trauma, but a vibrant emotional connection with their owners or their homes. The connection between master and pet can be so powerful in life that it borders on telepathy. I know that sounds extreme, but I have an example of this, and I can tell you from my own experience. My husband had a cat, and this cat was his buddy, and he got this cat when it was a baby. He treated this cat like a person. I can tell you, every day about 20 minutes before my husband would get home from work, that cat would go sit by the back door and wait for him to get home, And this was not out of habit, because due to my husband's line of work, he would not get home at the same time every day. He would get home at different times. However, like clockwork, that cat seemed to know when my husband was on his way home from work, and it would sit by the back door. And actually, it does take my husband about 20 minutes to get home from work. So the bond, the connection, bordering on telepathy, to me is believable, as I witnessed this over and over for years. This cat lived to be like 17 years old, and now after death, the attachments from the animals, they don't fade. That's why the ghost of a pet may still, act as a protector. For example, you have animals that are loyal and defensive in life, kind of like a dog, for instance. They cannot see death as sufficient reason to leave post. There are lots and lots of stories in the psychic community of phantom barks scaring away would-be home intruders. So I do believe that the bonds between the people and the pet can make a huge difference. Now, there is no limit on what kind of animal can haunt. Dogs and cats are the obvious choices, but horses, sheep, cow, fish, and rodent spirits have all been reported in rural areas. There have been reports of horses with antique saddles riding along roadsides only to disappear suddenly. Likewise, owners of historical farms may hear disembodied voices of the farm animals that once lived there. There are ghost stories about various types of pet animals, especially cats, dogs, and horses, being seen after their death. And those accounts have been widely reported. And with that, friends, we will be right back after this short break with more Ghost Talk. You're listening to Ghost Talk Radio on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
"23 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Ghost Talk Radio with me as your host, Shelly Robertson. If you just tuned in, I invite you all to join me in our chat at wbhm-db.com, where you can ask any questions you may have or share any stories you may have regarding tonight's topic, animal and hauntings. If you missed the first part of the show, no worries. You can catch the show archive on Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, and iHeartRadio at your leisure. Now, before the break, we were talking about pets and attachments to the owners. And I will say we have a story in chat from Kat. She had a dog named Willow who couldn't get up, and she had 3 other living dogs were in the dining room, and she was in the kitchen. All the dogs were accounted for. Then she heard dog tags jingle in the foyer on the other side of the kitchen, and she firmly believes that it was Max coming to let her know that she was in trouble. And Max, I take that was a dog that had previously died. And he has shown up a lot, she says. And she saw Willow a few weeks after she died going into the kitchen. She was almost transparent, but not quite. There are lots of accounts of people's pets, and it seems like they want to visit where they formerly lived. They may stay for a minimal period of time or even longer. Many owners have reported not only seeing their ghost animal, but also smelling, hearing, and even feeling them through touch. These ghost animals seem to continue their routine they developed while they were living as pets, such as sleeping on a bed, heading to a food dish, or interacting with other animals still alive and remaining in the household. I will tell you, these things did happen for a short time in my house after my husband's cat died. And that cat did die in our home. I would hear food in the food bowl rattling. There were a couple of times it smelled like the cat just used the litter box, and let me tell you, that was not a pleasant smell. I would hear what sounded like the cat jumping off the counter onto the floor. And believe me, those of you who have had cats, you know what this sounds like. And this went on for a little while, and I haven't heard it recently or anything, and I think maybe the cat moved on. I'm not sure, but I haven't heard in a while. But getting back to hauntings, if you have an animal, you may be asking, how long do animal hauntings last? Well, some animal ghosts stick around just until they feel their owners are ready to go it alone. Some pet owners experience a warm spot in the place where their recently deceased dog or cat used to sleep, and this will occur only for a few days or a few weeks. Animal mediums generally interpret this as an assurance from the pet's spirit that it has found the afterlife. Now, let's say if you've recently moved into a new home, you could encounter a host of mysterious noises and warm spots if the previous owner kept a small zoo. If they had lots of animals that maybe died. Unless the activity escalates to bothersome levels, these spirits usually offer positive energy. Most homeowners who inherit a benevolent haunting find it unnerving at first, but eventually they kind of get used to it. Now, let's talk a bit about some reported animal hauntings. Now, we all know that the Pony Express hasn't carried mail across the United States since the mid-1800s, but the Hollenberg Station in Kansas is known for ghostly horse hooves still galloping by, tongue twisting there. And I'll tell you, that's not the only report of animal ghosts being heard. There are many, many animal ghost accounts. There is this cliff in Texas that was a site where cattle stampeded over it, falling to their death. And this happened in the late 1880s. Now, today, this same site in Texas is known as Stampede Mesa, where the hooves of the unseen animals can still be heard stampeding today. It has also been reported the famous Tower of London, and let me tell you, the famous Tower of London, it's got several different kinds of hauntings there, but it formerly housed exotic wild animals. I know, that's shocking, right? Now, a guard in 1815 reported seeing a bear walk through a doorway, and he was so spooked that he attempted to use his bayonet on the creature, but the blade passed right through the ghost bear. Now, there has been other animal sightings reported at the Tower of London as well. Even, I'll tell you, the United States Capitol building today is said to be haunted by the ghost of a cat. It has been described as having glowing eyes, and it emerges out of the shadows to unsuspecting people. Legend has it that the ghost cat appears before major national disasters. The cat's name is, believe it or not, DC, and it was reported seen before the stock market crash of 1929 and the